Hello and welcome everyone. It's the Difference Makers Summit and I am so glad you are here today. This is a special historic event, a 7-part series where you're going to get to tune in to thought leaders from all around the world. Hi, I'm Lynn Sanders. I'm the story marketing coach and your host for this summit. Now, many people know me in my other life as the president and founder of Park Avenue Marketing, but my business name is changing to Difference Makers Media because that's my passion, to make a positive difference in the world by helping other difference makers, all of you entrepreneurs and nonprofit leaders who are passionate about making a significant impact. And we do that by creating, telling, and sharing stories that make a difference. Now, I realized that alone I can only do so much. And that's why I've been building a team of difference makers so that we all together can help you make a bigger impact. And I first want to say a big thank you to Elaine Nieberding, who has stepped in today to be our wingwoman. Elaine, you are the best. She is a fantastic friend and business colleague. So I would like to first turn to Elaine and have you introduce yourself and tell us where you're hanging out from.
So hi there, Lynn. I am Elaine Nieberding. I'm hanging out from Bel Air, Maryland. Spell that Merryland. And some of you know me as a Hangout host over here on Google+, hosting the Holy Shift Show. But we're now having fun doing some things over on Blab as well. It's always important to gather folks together, make connections of importance, get your message out into the world being your unique and authentic self. I'm happy to be here with Lynn and Roland today, and I'm going to put up my right lower third. Ha, ha, ha. We always do things a little goofy, but we'll carry on. Anyway,
Thank you, Lynn. Well, I appreciate you so much, and I want to let everyone know that this summit is different than probably most other summits you may have heard of. First of all, it's a free live series. Some summits you have to pay for just to tune in. There will be a recorded version of this series, and we're going to make that recorded version obviously available afterwards. 7 hours of content plus surprise bonuses that you will all be able to receive as long as you register. Now, those bonuses will be found in emails that I will be sending you if you register. To find the link to register, you just need to go to this page, this G+ page, click on that link. You can do it at any time, and it will take you through a couple pages where you will put your name and email down, and the final page will be a payment page if you want the recordings. So please remember, you need to register if you want to get the bonuses. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest for today, RolandTakaoka, who is a wonderful friend. He is the founder and president of R&D Hotline. So if you have a question, a hotline question, you can call on him for web marketing and web design. He's also the popular host of the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties Show. So welcome, Roland. Tell us where you're hanging out from.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I think the show is more popular than I am, but that's turning into a pretty good Saturday morning session. I am live from Southern California, and it's a pretty nice sunny blue sky day today, which is remarkable.
I am so glad you're here. It's sunny actually here even in Chicago. Well, I wanted to let everyone know that Roland is going to reveal something that he probably did not reveal on any of his shows. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Roland, on his Saturday morning.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So this is a first for all of you who are fans of Roland's, and for new people who are tuning into this Hangout on Air. One thing I do want to mention for some of you new people who I've invited to this program, please be comfortable to share your questions and comments in this page on the comment stream. Elaine will be noticing who is making comments, and even though our comment tracker is not working today, she will recognize them and we will engage you as much as possible so you can ask Roland questions. In addition, Roland's topic that he has not revealed before is the smart factor in online marketing. So Roland will be covering how do small businesses get noticed, how do we effectively begin online marketing, and of course this mysterious smart factor. What is it? So go ahead, Roland. Can you first start by telling us a little bit of how you got to where you are today?
Yes, but before I do that, I would like to say we all are preparing different sorted bonuses for people who are watching the summit, and that you can only win or achieve the bonuses if they're given away or if it's a contest or whatever, if you register. So I'm hoping people will register to take advantage of the bonuses, and that's a very important factor. Now, in lieu of this, if you do register, you are what do you call it, qualified then to sign up for a contest that I'm holding, and I'm going to award, and I'm not exactly sure how long I will extend the invitation for application, but right now, if you register and you go to my website, and Elaine has the link involved, you could register for the webinar series, the summit series, and then apply for membership opportunity, because I'm going to give 3 months free membership to R&D Hotline WordPress Playground. So if people want to learn how to do WordPress, I'm going to give them a playground on R&D Hotline subdomain, and I'm going to teach them WordPress for 3 months. And
Wow.
it's like having your own website to play around, and if you flub it up or if it explodes, I can come back and rescue you and we can start again or whatever. But it's going to have email access to me for support, and we are also going to include in that once a week an hour's group session with all the people. And I say all the people because I'll tell you what that means in a minute. But all of the people gather, and we're going to have a group lesson on WordPress where I instruct them through the whole thing. And the first 8 sessions or so will all be about WordPress. The last 4 sessions are going to be more like, okay, now what can we do with what you are working on to enhance what you want to achieve in WordPress? So 3 months of WordPress lessons, once a week hourly lessons, and we're going to give this away to 5 people. So what I normally charge for this group lesson is $5.95 for 12 weeks of lessons in WordPress. And so, with 5 people, it's going to be like over $3,000 when you get around to it, because R&D Hotline is $10 a month and so forth. So anyway, that's what I'm giving away. And if you sign up and you are selected, you have to actually submit why I deserve to win this. And I'm going to select them with a little panel of people depending upon what you write to me. So depending upon the answers, I mean, you just say, well, I really want to win this, or if it's like, I'm trying to build a business and I'm this and that or whatever. And if you give me a good reason, you might get selected to be on the group of 5 that win this. So I just wanted to fill it in on why I'm doing that and how you can possibly win that. That's my bonus.
That is very, very generous. For any of you out there who have worked with web designers and web marketers, you know that you pay a very good amount to do that for 12 weeks. I talked to Roland previously. I said, I think it's worth at least $1,000, and he said no, he would value it at $5.95. But in any event, you're all eligible to apply to learn how to use WordPress and get coaching from Roland absolutely free. So this is thousands of dollars of value starting out at the gate at our first module on the Difference Makers Summit, and I want to give a huge thank you to Roland. Roland, that is fantastic. Thank you. I don't have my special sound effects ready because I was checking the...
Let's leave the sound effects off.
Well, I had to do that a little bit.
Okay.
What can I say?
That was for Lynn,
anyway,
everybody.
Let's get back to now, Roland. Let's get back to, and I appreciate this so much, your story. Actually, Roland, on the side, he has been writing a book, and I just want to let you know I just started reading it. It's fantastic, his story. But if you can condense how you got to where you are today, Roland, I think it would be fascinating for people and inspirational too, that we all can encounter challenges but learn to overcome them. So go ahead, Roland. Tell us a little bit of your story.
First of all, you know how people get on board with these Hangouts, and they get on the camera, they goes to them, and then they say, I am so excited to be here. Well, half the time they're actually not, but they're definitely going to say that because they want to ignite a fire with the people who are watching. Like, wow, he's so excited. But you can tell they're not excited. I don't know if you could tell, but I am very excited today.
I can tell.
And mainly because People are expecting me to talk about web design and tell you what works and what doesn't. Well, you know what? I want to clarify this. All the information is out there before us telling you what works and what does not. And we have a series with 6 more people or 6 more sessions after this in the following Fridays showing you 6 perspectives on what you can do to benefit yourself and benefit your online marketing. Now, all of them can work. All of them. So if people are thinking to themselves, gee, which one should I follow and what should I do? It depends upon what resonates with you and what you are good at and what you want to express. That's how you decide what you're going to do. And when you decide what you're going to do, you got to stick with it and make it happen. And then that's involving the rest of what I'm here to talk about today.
So tell us your story.
Yeah, it all started when I was young and impressionable, and my mother took me aside and basically said, guess what? The spiritual precedes the physical. And you know, when you're 13 and your mom says that, you're thinking to yourself, okay, yeah, I can live with that. Okay, fine. And then my dad, about the same age, told me, we create our own reality, you know. And then once again, Roland's response is, sure, Dad. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Good. I can hang with that. And you know what the interesting thing is? I'm looking at my screen. I see the Elaine Nieberding. So can everybody hear me? Okay. The microphone's picking up and so forth.
I can hear you, and I see you on the screen.
Okay.
Elaine,
that's the main thing. It's just my my side of the Hangout, you know, malfunctioning and whatnot. But anyway, people have been telling me from an early age some things that they believe and that I would consider, well, I want to believe they're facts. But what are facts? Facts are temporary and they're relative because it's not all true in all situations. So what is the real meaning behind facts? Facts are the things that we want to hold as true beliefs within ourselves. And that is a part that's linked to the smart factor, because being smart is knowing your heart. Being smart is knowing what you stand for and what you want in life. But when you live your life trying to fulfill other people's wants and needs and please everybody else, you don't get around to expressing yourself and what you need and what you want and what you are going to achieve in life. So when people are going to seek success, they really have to let go of some things in order to move forward. And success is there for everybody. And I do not believe that anyone is barred from success. And as myself as an example, I've been an internet marketer for over 25 years. And well, in the first 5 years of that is pretty weak. You know, you don't know you're an internet marketer until you all of a sudden you're doing it for other people and they're benefiting from it. So I didn't know I was an internet marketer, so to speak, but I've been doing this about 25 years. And then suddenly, 3 years ago, I had a stroke that took me out of the marketplace. And, well, it was my third stroke. So I had this stroke. It put me in this wheelchair. And most people don't realize that I'm in a wheelchair, but if I'm squirming around and doing some weird things, and people are thinking, well, Roland's always moving around and doing weird things, it's because my butt hurts and sitting in this chair for too long is, you know, a little bit uncomfortable. So the idea is we all have our problems. And if people look at it like, well, gee, I'm stuck in a wheelchair and what can I do? I can't network anymore. I had to quit my little tip group. And, you know, when you look at all the negative things, it's very easy to be depressed and be negative and consider yourself defeated. Wow, the stroke took me out of life. Well, guess what? The stroke in my case put me into a life where I have gained tenfold by doing what I can, not what I can't. I can't get to legit meetings. I can't meet my friends at the restaurant. I can't go to this event or that event. But there's a lot that I can do online. I dug in, I did my research, I studied and kept myself current with what I know about internet marketing. And now, guess what? I have a value that I can bring to the plate because of what I did. So part of the key in all of this And part of the smart factor is doing what you can, not what you can't. And now let's take that a step further. Am I often running on the wrong subject, or am I okay?
No,
Let's
you're just right, Roland. I think that's an important point right there that we could even, if you want to put that up, Elaine, doing what you can, not what you can't, is a great focus point to start out with here.
Well, we're going to take it a step further than that, and that is to say, when you're thinking about what you can't do, you are polarized negative. And there's a problem with this because there's an energy flow to life. Let's back up a major step. Lynn, part of your program and what you're going to bring to the plate next in 6 weeks is the attraction factor in attracting the perfect client. Now,
Right.
what I'm presenting today is the start of the understanding, hopefully, to help people understand what the law of attraction is. And then you're like the coup de grace at the end that shows them when you really, really understand the attraction factor, now here's how you get your perfect client. Because that's what everybody wants to know, not how do I do this or how do I get a new car. I just want to work for a living and get my income going so I can buy the car that I want. And so you're going to show them the practical application of the law. But guess what? Unless you understand the principle that I'm talking about today, it won't work. None of this is going to work. No tools will be beneficial unless you have this factor down. Okay. So now let's get down to the factor itself, shall we?
Yes, let's get down to it. Go ahead.
The factor involves the polarity of the person, because attracting goes like this. As Abraham Hicks says, like attracts like. And if that's the case, if like attracts like, some people are saying, well, no, opposites attract and this and that, and electricity goes from negative to positive and blah, blah, blah. Okay, or positive to negative. You can talk about some things that we understand, but when it comes to spiritual things, when it comes to the deep reality within ourselves, you're not attracted to people that hate you. You're not attracted to people who disagree with you. We congregate because we are like thinkers and like feelers and like in spirit. That's what the attraction factor involves. So when we say like attracts like, how do we attract what we like? You go out into the universe and express what you like. When you express what you like, guess what? That makes you happy. So guess what? Happiness and like factor are linked indelibly. You cannot separate them. So when it comes to your business, what do you start out with? You start out with doing things you like. I had someone say to me years ago, do what you like, because eventually if you do what you like or do what you love, you will get paid for it. And so it's like, oh yeah, sure, like, well, I love to do this thing, but it's never going to make me any money. As soon as you think that in your mind, you're done. It's never going to be an occupation. It's just going to be a hobby, maybe just a pastime or whatever. But the other person that thinks, I don't care if it's a hobby, I'm going to do it because I love it. Eventually somebody comes along and says, looks over your shoulder, sees what you're doing, loves what you're doing, and goes, dude, I love what you're doing. How do you do that? And then you say, just do it. It's just natural, comes secondhand. Hey, would you teach me how to do it? And you spend the next week or so showing someone else how to enjoy this thing that you enjoy so much. And then after a while you realize, by golly, there are dozens, hundreds of people who want to learn this very same thing. I could give lessons. Guess what? Now you've got a monetary income opportunity. So you don't want to think to yourself, gee, nobody wants to learn this, or it's not really valuable, or it's just a hobby, whatever. Anything you love to do could make you money, can make you money. You just got to figure out how to monetize. So the start of this whole thing is do what you love. Do something that you love. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're not doing something you love, you're not going to stick with it. And part of the smart factor then is doing what you love. Because That's what's going to nail your commitment to follow through. And I love this one quote, and I'm going to take a break now until I find it.
Well, that's all right. Roland, this is so important to everyone listening. And, we've heard it, some of you I'm sure have heard this before, but my thought is the more you hear something, the stronger it gets reinforced, because you can hear things on many levels. You might first read something and for the first time and say, oh, that's interesting. You read it again, and it sinks deeper into our consciousness. So what you're saying, Roland, is so important, because I believe everyone here listening is a difference maker. You may realize it or not. And by us joining together, we're really combining our energies to be even making a stronger impact. Obviously, I've been attracted to this whole topic of making a difference, and that's why I put the summit, with the help of others here, together, because I love getting the feeling that we're all working together to make a difference. And I love working with positive-minded people like you and Elaine, and all our other speakers are coming up. So I think it's really great that you're expounding on this. And I'd also like to ask you, how did that thinking, if you don't mind reflecting back to your story of what you went through personally, how did that thinking of positivity in the hardest of circumstances make a difference for you? And what can others do in their thinking? How do they rechannel their brain to think positively when they're faced with challenges?
Sure. I know that everyone will react differently to adversity, but I advise when you deal with your own personal adversity or any adversity in your life, it could be a family member or a friend or whatever, and deal with it from this perspective. Now, I have been handed an obstacle and a challenge. If I believe that things can end my life, then I'm a vulnerable victim. But I don't believe anybody's a victim. I believe that you accept or achieve what you want in life. And so from my perspective, if you are a victim, if you see yourself as a victim, you are pretty much helpless to do anything. But from your perspective, there is always an option. There is always something that you can do. I don't care. All we have to do is look at someone like Helen Keller or Stephen Hawkins. I mean, when you look at people like that, Stephen Hawkins is in a wheelchair, and he can't even move virtually any part of his body, and he can't even move his mouth, but he can sit in front of a screen and talk to us. Now, and Helen Keller, she went around in her life a blind lady, but look what she achieved. So I don't care what your affliction is or what you think your problem is. I'm not going to accept the fact that you think you can't. So
Okay.
the objective is to turn the polarity enough to say, well, I can do something, right? So you're on the positive side. Can't is negative, can is positive, obviously. And that polarity pretty much determines the dividing line between positivity and negativity. And it's also the dividing line between happiness and unhappiness. So, gee, see how they line up? Isn't that funny? So if you're working on being happy, just being happy, more is going to come your way. That's going to allow this happiness factor. But if you're always worried about, gee, there's a problem here, and I've got this problem and that problem, and then if you dwell on that, guess what? Some of the greatest minds around will tell you that what you think about, you bring about. And that's Earl Nightingale. What you think about, you bring about. Or, no, I'm sorry, that's more of a law of attraction thing. What Earl Nightingale said was, we become what we think about. So think about that for a second. If you're always dwelling in your problems, guess what you're becoming? You're becoming your problems. And, the problems are not something on the outside of us. Life is a reflection of what we're doing in spirit. That's what my mom said when I was preteen. She said, spiritual precedes the physical. So guess what? That means what we do involved in ourselves and how we enlighten ourselves is going to reflect right into the spiritual body, the physical body, the thing sitting in front of you right now on the screen. This is a result of my spirit. So what am I supposed to work on? My physical body and hammer myself and go through therapy and this and that. No, I can heal myself through my spirit. Now, I believe this wholeheartedly, but even if I never get out of this wheelchair, I'm still thinking about what I can achieve from where I am. Because another law of attraction guy, Mike Dooley, I strongly suggest that everybody look into Mike Dooley. I love the guy.
He's great. I know. Things become thoughts, right?
Thoughts become things.
Thoughts
Actually.
become things, yes.
Which is, a little bit more correct in the timeline. But the idea of thoughts become things is you always do what you can with what you've got from where you are. So you're not sitting there wishing, gee, I wish I had that. Gee, I wish so-and-so could help me. Gee, I wish I had $1,000,000. You don't worry about that. You just do what you can with what you've got from where you are. And so that's what I did. And I decided, well, I can market online. I can talk to people. Guess what? Oh, my goodness. They got these things called Hangouts now. And I can actually have meetings with 7, 8, 9 people other than myself at once. What a wonderful thing. Oh my God, I could broadcast from here and hundreds or thousands of people could watch if that was the case. All of a sudden I went from a wheelchair-bound nobody that couldn't get in touch with people from marketing to a person that could run his own show on Saturday mornings talking to the world. Now,
wow.
that's a miracle.
It is.
And some people would say, "Oh my God, that's a miracle. The whole universe rearranged itself for Roland, and now he can do a show online." And you could look at it that way, and I do, because everyone's reality is going to be different, and there are millions, billions of people who absolutely have never heard of Hangouts. And we are on the cutting edge of something here, so it's a new wave. We are actually early adopters of what in the next 2 or 3 years is going to be the standard everyday marketing communication that everybody is doing in some form. There are going to probably be a dozen things that come along that try to wipe Hangouts off the map, but Hangouts are going to be the cutting edge of what's going on. So I'm glad that we're doing this in Hangouts to demonstrate that fact.
Now, thank you.
Can I jump in for a minute?
Go ahead, Lynn.
Yeah, first of all, we have Jeremy Murphy here and Dave Moore here, and we have Craig H here, and they're hanging on your words and listening for your inspiration. And Jeremy Murphy has said, dumping negativity, doubt, and fear makes such a huge difference. Too many people get stuck with that unfortunate trio. And so he's echoing and absolutely high-fiving what you are saying, Roland. And Dave Moore has a little pointed question, if I can bring that up for you.
Okay.
Okay. You're talking about doing what you can, not what you can't. So, when you're looking at your physical capabilities and how those have changed, now you've made a very pointed decision, about engaging your spirit and really feeling into, so what am I passionate about? And what I want to bring forth to the world, and what ways can I do that? So that's great. But Dave is asking, but what advice would you give to people regarding discovering what they can't do? Meaning, I think he's kind of getting at, for the areas where we've said we can't, is there some point in time where we go back to those can't areas and decide, well, maybe I can? Or those new areas where we want to learn a new skill, then how we engage our positivity for that? Is it trial and error sometimes in these areas that we want to veer into?
Yeah, I think that everyone's situation is going to be different, because what some people are going to achieve with the challenges before them. I mean, let's take myself for instance. I really am not working at this particular subject, but there are people in wheelchairs who play racquetball. I used to love racquetball, but I am not striving to get my wheels on the court. Now, that's me, but somebody else might really want to do that. So if they do, guess what? They're going to find a way to do it. And I encourage everyone to believe this one thing. Whatever it is that they can achieve, that you want to achieve, whatever it is you want to accomplish, there's a way to do it. Now, do I know the answer to that? I could not tell you the science behind it. No. I could not tell you the physical machinery involved. Maybe not. But I do believe that from the spiritual standpoint, anything is possible. Now, one thing to realize, too, we go back to the polarity of the issue, the positive and the negative. If you really have in mind that you think that you can't do something, well, guess what? It doesn't make too much sense to go attack the problem and try to cure it if you don't really believe that you can. But if you have an inkling of maybe there's a way, maybe there is some way to do it. I don't know what it is, and no one else can tell me, but by golly, I'm going to figure it out. Guess what? It's going to lead you on to something positive. Whether you actually achieve that particular challenge or not is not the point, because it's going to lead you forward. And what you're going to find is there's something that you love more, and that's what you're going to achieve in the challenge. So you don't want to stop whatever you're doing. Now, the person that perseveres either way is going to win. I don't care if it's the guy in the wheelchair that wants to play racquetball or not. He's going to play racquetball from a wheelchair if he wants to. And I believe that I'm sure that they're doing it. I haven't seen it. Yes, I have actually seen a video of two guys in wheelchairs playing racquetball. Now, is the game the same? No, but they're making their time provide a happiness factor in their lives. So it's very, very important to believe that you can do something, anything, if you really, really want to do it. In some ways, with some shape, some form, there's got to be a way. So, am I a believer that anything is possible in the universe? Yes, I believe that anything is possible. So right off the bat, I'm up against 90% of the rest of the world that says, well, no, I know you can't do this and that and so forth. And guess what? You're telling me what your limited thinking decides what the universe has to offer. And I'm not limited to that because I'm in my own brain, not yours. And from this perspective, I see the universe as being this unlimited thing that some people say, well, God spoke and nothing became everything, or the Big Bang exploded and everything came out of this one little speck smaller than you can feel. And, however you decide to describe it, it still is what it is. And I believe that one way to explain it is God provided the ultimate place, a playground, where anything is possible. And I don't believe that I'm limited to this one life. So, where people are all fearful about, gee, I've only got X number of decades to live, or a few years or months or days to live, well, guess what? They're going to be coming back around if they want again. So it's a different perspective. And if you fear life, well, but guess what? I can't help you. I really can't help you other than to encourage you and try to be happy in the face of your adversity. But the thing is, if you polarize yourself positively, you're going to make progress. And so the polarization process is basically this. If it feels negative, if it makes you feel sad, it's polarized negative. And that's the thing you want to get rid of. Do I want you to avoid your problems? No. But always think, what is the solution? What can I do? And when you find something you can do, that's positive. It's going to make you feel a little bit better, which is the whole concept of the law of attraction. You don't have to solve the whole problem now. You have to turn away from the negative and make yourself feel a little bit better. Make forward strides. And basically, guess what? That's exactly what Jesus said. He said, turn the other cheek. He wasn't talking about turn your face so the guy can slap you on the other side. He was talking about turn your consciousness away from the negativity and look at the positivity and just ignore this negative thing and think, what can I do? It's the same thing.
Hey, Roland.
Yes.
We have Dave Moore who has responded back. He said, when we are determined, then we either find a way or we make a way. He has been hearing what you say and putting it in his own words and right on. Also want to mention that Virginia Parsons is here, and she's saying, anything's possible when you tap into your happiness factor. RolandTakaoka, this is what he's actually teaching us as being part of this smart factor. It's important to hang out there in that happiness factor in your mind and spirit. Thank you, Virginia. We're so happy you're here.
Just thank you all for making comments. It's very important. And I think, Roland, if you correct me, I was going to try to condense all these great things, these nuggets you've said. And I would say, when you mentioned the smart factor in online marketing and positivity, would you say, to kind of recap it, that you're talking about positive belief, faith, and perseverance? I see all those three as integral to what you mentioned, to really build on marketing, starting from that inner side, as you mentioned with Mike Dooley, thoughts become things, the inner faith, belief, and perseverance to make something happen then physically. Would you agree with that, Roland?
100%. There are a lot of tools out there, but if you don't have those things that you just mentioned, the tools don't matter. If we get down to the tools, yes. I've been preaching for a year. You got to have a website. You got to be involved in social media, and you got to be involved in video and YouTube. And if you got those three things and incorporate those three things, especially if your social media is Google Plus because of the facilitation abilities and the various positive enhancements that Brad adds to what you're doing. If you have those three things, that's a great foundation, and you're going to make way. But it's still a vehicle, it's still a tool, it's still machinery that you've got to, like, you got to get on your bike and pedal it for it to go down the road. So if you don't have something that you're willing to climb on and crank, it's not going to go anywhere. So the other factors are more important than your tools. And if people want to talk about the tools, I'd love to talk about the tools, but they're not what's most important.
Right. How do you strengthen that inner positivity, Roland? Can you give us some specific techniques? Like, do you do meditation? There's Reiki, I know Lynn is involved in. What do you find most helpful, and what would you recommend?
You know, when I was 15 years old, I got to the conclusion, without the help of very much of anybody particularly, not any particular mentor, but I came to this startling conclusion in my mind. Wow, everything changes and nothing stays the same. So as soon as I realized that, I geared myself towards change and development and things that develop and change. I mean, you know, to me, that's a fact. That's my most important fact, maybe. And that's my most important truth, that everything changes, so we have to live our lives according to the change factor. But in doing so, we have to be early adopters of good ideas. And if we just remain as smart as we can, we're going to have more of an opportunity to make smart decisions. But we have to be self-educated, we have to be open-minded, we have to be willing to learn. And another thing that is just so impounded in this whole concept is, if we're not willing to give in the process, and really give first, if we're not willing to give of ourselves, there is no flow of energy through us to any other source. And the way the universe is designed, it's part of the flow of things. It's like you got to empty out your garage before you can put something new in it, right? Sometimes your new car won't fit until you get rid of the old car and maybe some old boxes and stuff too. So when you clean house and get rid of the debris, get rid of the clutter and the attachments to old stuff, you can bring in the new stuff. So I'm attached to very little physical stuff, and I'm all about the flow of energy coming through me. So if people are willing to give, that makes room for the incoming, and it opens your mind to say, wow, there are more solutions here than I thought there were. And that's a consciousness issue. It's not a reality issue. What is reality? What are facts? We already covered this. They're relative and they're temporary. So open up your world and find out that there's much, much, much more to discover.
That's beautiful. You know, when you talk about giving, that reminds me of the new way, as you've mentioned in your own programs, a new way of building your marketing is really building relationships. Can you talk a little bit more also on how you give in your business world? You just gave a significant amount today with the website package, you know, WordPress design, but how do you recommend other people show that they're giving through their marketing?
Well, first of all, the first thing that people have to get rid of, or at least sit on the shelf. I mean, I know that the bottom line is we all need to make money to live and to function. But the idea is when they get into internet marketing, they think, how can I turn a fast buck? How can I get an ROI that's going to put money in my pocket? How can I sell more of my product? How can I do this? What can I sell? What can I do to make money? I want to change my hours for money. Also, I want to produce something that will sustain me without me having to work every day. So it's something recurring income, blah, 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 blah. And guess what? They are basing their question for themselves, and their whole stand is based on a negative problem. And when you base it on a negative problem, I'm going to tell you what that negative problem is. When you base things on a negative problem, you have a sincere problem, because guess what? Your body is polarized negatively. Guess what? You're putting out in the universe a negative vibe. What you think about, you bring about. Guess what? You're bringing back, if you're thinking negativity, you're bringing more negativity. You're attracting what you are. You become what you think about. So that if you're thinking about negativity, guess what? Your environment and your experience become negative. So one of the first things is we got to let go of the problem and not worry about it. Well, how I did that was I quit pitching to anybody. I quit selling to anybody. I just said, guess what? The last couple of customers I've had were real jerks. And I ended up giving them their project and just telling them, look, you can cancel the balance of the product, of the project, the agreement. You owe me nothing. Let's just walk away. And, they did so. But I look at it like they're the ones that lost. They probably think good riddance, Roland. But the idea is I had to walk away from that, and I did not want to relive that again. So what I decided to do was start the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties show and teach people what I know. Now, can I teach them every little intricate thing? No, but I can share a vast wealth of knowledge, which is what I'm doing with this giveaway, the bonus. And I'm teaching people how to take advantage of what's free. And so I feel good about that. I'm telling people everything is on the internet, and if you want to learn how to do something, it's already there to show you how to do it. And you can do the research, but like most people don't want to spend years or even months learning how to do this stuff. But if I can hold them by the hand and they're willing to join me, I'm happy to teach them.
Right. What you're saying, Roland, is you're coming from a place of service rather than thinking about, oh, I need the money. You're saying, I want to give, and in return, to have a good energy flow, you will get compensated, but you're coming from that giving space first.
Well, right? Guess what? Some people would say, you got to have faith. And guess what? I fit into that ballpark because I truly believe that if you give of yourself and put it out there and help others, you will benefit. Zig Ziglar said, you can have in life everything that you want as long as you help enough other people. This is paraphrased.
Right.
But as long as if you just help enough other people get what they want. And that's the secret to success. That's part of the smart factor, and it's going to work for you. But you've got to believe it, and you've got to do it. As soon as you attach gee, I got to make a buck. Gee, I got to figure out a way to monetize. I have to charge for this. I'm worried about my bills. I got to pay my bills. Guess what? You are negatively charged. So the way to achieve positivity and good results is to basically set the bills on the shelf and go after what you can do.
Beautiful. Elaine, did you want to weave in some other comments?
Yeah, I do want to weave in a couple other comments. We have a couple other attendees, and just to highlight the power of the Hangouts on Air platform, we can weave people's comments and questions on into the program. As I mentioned, Virginia Parsons is here. She's a big Hangout proponent. We now have Shira Hunt here with us, saying she's really enjoying the power of this presentation. Chiwa Slater said, Roland, you had a wonderful take on Turn the Other Cheek. Thank you.
It's not a thank you, and it's not a turn, but it's like my interpretation of what Jesus meant is the truth. And so many people say, turn the other cheek, just take it on the chin, and ignore the fact that this this adversary is so mad he's going to punch you out, and it slaps you, and you turn the other cheek. It's like, I can take it, I can take it. That's not the point of it all. It's all about the consciousness of the individual walking away from the adversity and going back into the mode of positivity and love. And what can I do that's good?
And Lynn Hawkins is also with us, appreciating, you're highlighting the different things, but she also said, I really appreciate the discussion about flow, allowing the flow of energy through us by giving, so that the new stuff can flow to you and through you. That's insightful. And really, even many people are feeling misaligned when they think they're giving things away. This is really powerful.
Oh, my God. You nailed it, Lynn, and I'll tell you what. There's giving, and then there's giving. And the giving of the silent gift is something that I've held from even being a kid. The idea is, when you actually give something, you don't expect anything back. You don't expect the highlight of, like, the Good Samaritan standing on the corner and saying, gee, I'm throwing alms to the poor, look at me, I'm great. Well, that's of course, that's BS. But the thing is, sometimes people give anonymously or give without the feeling or the need for any kind of recompense. And guess what? That comes back to us more than when we give for a compensation factor or a trade factor or a benefit of how much can I get for the dollars that I'm investing. When you actually give something, it's not a gift if you expect something back. And so when we're giving and when we're doing things with these bonuses and stuff, I have the confidence that it's going to lead clients my way, but I'm not sitting here back here monetizing. Gee, I can only give this many packages away, because if I don't get that many packages back, then I give away $3,000. Oh my God, what am I going to do? It's this illusion that I've created in my mind, if that's the case. And I like to create the illusion that I'm part of the flow, which is massively more than my pea brain is wrapping around the $3,000. It's
right, and that flow is giving and receiving, so it's not like you're just giving. I think when people get confused about this, they think they're just giving away, but what you're saying, Roland, is being open to the flow where you can give and be open to receiving.
Yes, and so part of our receiving, part of the abundance thinking, is to be able to be willing to share it and be willing to give that. And that, if any bit of you that says, no, I'm not willing to give that, guess what? You're cutting off part of your flow that's coming to you. So, I mean, basically, you got to understand you're connected to the universe, and the universe has its laws, and they supersede what we want to have as laws for our own life.
So I want to ask a question of Roland, and this is based on a quote that Bill Graham just put up. The quote he wrote was, if you are giving and expecting something back, you are conducting business, not
exactly, kindness. Bill.
Not kindness. I love it. Great. So Roland, if you could expound a little bit on the kind heart that comes alive for us being present in the world and, bringing forth our most passionate work and service.
Sure. And this is going to be a challenge for my audience, and I'll probably turn people away from listening to me forever and ever.
No. Don't say that.
Well, you're real, Roland. Yeah.
We really want to analyze what's in our hearts. And, those words are going to come from a multitude of sources, and we want to listen to that, but we don't often do it. And because when we do it, we're going to be self-analyzing ourselves and our motives and our intentions. And when you get down to that, we discover who we really are, right? But when we do this, it's going to change what we do. And sometimes when you think, oh God, I'm self-analyzing and thinking about this and the reason why I'm giving and the reason that I am doing something for somebody or whatever the case is, and we say, well, it's because I know that this will happen or that will happen, and that's really why I'm doing it. And then we realize, God, I don't want to be in that pocket. I don't want to be doing it for that reason. And so some people just give in and say, well, it's got to be that way because I got to make a living and got to do this. And the people who have faith and trust in the universal laws are going to say, look, just just take this and go, and with my compliments, and I know it's going to be working out, because the universe is taking care of us, not that other person. When you're in the flow, you get yours. And the abundance factor is that includes money. That includes money. That's all a part of the universal law, and that's all a part of abundance. So you can't keep the money away if you're thinking in abundance. So guess what? That part of the economy of life is already handled, and we really don't have to worry about it so much. And that's, it's, I know that there are people going, uh-huh. I want to believe that, but it's really difficult. But as soon as, I tell you what, as soon as you actually believe it and start giving from the heart, really, really giving, then your abundance flow to you will double or triple.
So, Roland, you have another visitor here, Shara Hunt. She said, Roland is the essence of the kind heart. His power lies in knowing that being present for others is the real journey. You rock,
Yay.
Roland.
Yes.
Thank you, Shara. And I'm going to return that by saying that Shara is a most kind heart, and she's a wonderful person, and talking to her personally, if you should make the chance to get to do that. Whether you subscribe to her services or not is another story, but talk to Shara. Get to talk to Shara. She's wonderful. She's delightful. But she actually conducts something that's so intertwined with this whole thing, because the universe is energy and this flow of energy, and so is sound and frequency, vibration, and so forth. And that's what she deals with. And so she's got this thing that I kept on trying to call healing, and she said, well, what we call it is sound therapy and vibrational therapy. Now, that's the truth of the matter, because the vibrations adjust what it is the body's doing and what the body's conditioned to do. So if she analyzes where your vibrations are and gives you a way with other vibrations to adjust what your body vibrations are, that allows your body to change, and it also allows your thinking to change, and it's all combined. So it's not just helping your body without your mind, or doing your mind and not your body. It's all one. It's helping everything at once, because we are from head to toe vibration.
Beautiful.
And
Elaine, if you wouldn't mind putting this in the comment stream, but just to let everyone know how to reach Shira, I think this is a great example of power of attraction. Shira's website is vibrationallysound.com, and as an example of a strategic attraction, I've attracted Roland and Elaine right here, and we attracted all you great difference makers in what you do. I actually found Shira through a strategic attraction because I was looking for people who make a big difference, and my husband told me about her, and I got involved in wanting to learn more and take her special program, which she calls vibrational therapy, how you can actually balance the energies in your body and heal naturally. And through that, then Roland heard about her, and now other people are. So we're all really connected here. Even if we don't realize it, as Roland has been exemplifying, if we focus on what we want, the positive, we will bring more of that to us. We're running out of time. I want Roland, first, would you share a little bit of who are your favorite strategic attraction mentors? Who would you recommend to people to learn more from, in addition to those even on this program?
Well, first of all, if it wasn't obvious already, I'm really, really deep into Abraham Hicks, and I recommend that people spend the $20 or $30 and watch and listen to the 5 CD set of the basics of the law of attraction, because I guarantee you that most people don't understand what the law of attraction is. And basically, to put it in real terms, law of attraction is this: if you want something badly enough, but you've got all this negative vibe and thinking in your brain at the same time about, gee, I really want a red car. I want a brand new red car. I want it to look just like this. Yeah, but my income's not good enough, and I'm not going to get a raise, and no one's going to help me out, and I can't afford the payments, and I can't. Guess what? That car, although you materialize the opportunity of it coming to your life, you also talked it down at the same time. We are talking about the polarity issue. If you're more negative than positive, you're never going to get the car. If you're a little bit more positive than you are negative, you'll eventually get the car. If you're really, really, really positive, it'll come a lot faster. Nothing's immediate, but it really depends on us. And so that's the same way of everything in life, whether you're talking about business, whether you're talking about healing, whether you're talking about achieving friendships, or the perfect relationship in your life. You know, being what you want to attract is the whole idea, right? So be
Exactly.
happy. I mean, Bobby McFerrin had it perfectly right. Don't worry, be happy. You know, because if you could actually do that, you'd find a lot of more positive things happening in your life just because you're not attaching yourself to the negative. So there's some very simple rules of life, and worry and anger and fear are not positive.
Good point. So, Elaine, before we close, do we have any other further comments? And I want to ask Roland. I'm going to come back to you, ask you for the one thing you'd like people to remember before we close, and I'm going to also let everyone know what's coming up. So, Elaine, how about you? Would you like to share what your thoughts are on what Roland he's shared with us, or any comments right now from the comment stream?
Well, what I sense is that a lot of people watching today have really been feeling the truth of getting into the vibe of your heart, your sense of kindness, and that passion, and letting that come forth in your life as a gift to everyone else. And as you align with that, then truly you're experiencing abundance, you're flowing it forward, and everything you're truly meant to experience and share in a collaborative way, it just starts showing up. Virginia Parsons has echoed that by appreciating Shira Hunt and saying, vibrational therapy sounds wonderful. I love the collaborative spirit of all different makers. And that's what it really comes down to. We're giving and sharing, supporting each other. Wonderful collaborative things emerge. Sometimes things of such reach and impact, when we start out, we have no sense of where it's going and the grandness of the gift it becomes.
Beautiful, Lane. Thank you.
That's awesome stuff. Really
so
glad
Roland,
to have a lot of these people in our audience, and I wanted to exemplify too that we are not necessarily going to go away at the halfway mark at 10:30 or 11:30, whatever. When this show is over, we were going to plan on maybe sticking around and discussing things with people. So we may be opening up the green room. If anyone wants to pop in there, I'm good for another hour. We may not be able to sustain the whole crowd that we have, but I will hang out for about an hour if you'd like to join me in the green room.
Thank you, Roland. So, Roland, before we conclude, and I want to also give everyone the coming attractions after this program, could you just give us your summary? What would what would be one thing you'd like people to remember from this program on getting the smart factor in online marketing?
Be positive. We're supposed to be what we want to achieve, right? So instead of say be profit, be money, be this, be positive. Because if you are positive, you can conquer anything. Your attitude will get you there. So if you polarize yourself positive, that negates the opportunity to be negative. So if we are not negative, then we are already on the positive trend, and you're going to see results. I don't care what you're doing, and I don't care where you are or what you've got with you so far. If you're positive and you take action and you advance forth, you're going to get positive results. And that's the simple equation of life. Now, past that, be smart. Analyze your environment. Get an education. Read smart things from smart people. And then take action based on your beliefs of things that will benefit you. It doesn't mean you have to do everything, but do a little something positive all the time. So when you're polarized positive, you have more of an opportunity to do that. And take it from me, you're going to be happier too. I'll tell you that right from the start. And that's basically why I'm as happy as I am pretty much all the time.
That's wonderful. There's that saying that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. So if you want to move forward, you got to take those steps. And Roland, I love your perspective about being positive, because every day, is a present. The word "the present," I once heard this. I thought it was so interesting. The word "present" actually has two meanings. It's present means being now, and present is a gift. We all have this moment just now. So we can always look back, and we can look back at our past and have one thought that maybe we didn't like certain things, or we could take a different perspective and say, I learned from that, and I'm going to value my present right now.
If I could cap that, Lynn, there is no past, and the future is irrelevant. The power of the now is that we only have right now. Exactly. This is all of our power. If we want to do something to affect our lives, guess what? We got to do it right this instant. Or we can say, gee, I'll do it tomorrow, or gee, I wish I did it yesterday. But guess what? Either of those things are out of our control. But right now, we have the power. And it's always that way.
Oh, love that. Thank you, Elaine. So before we conclude, I want to let everyone know that we have 6 more weeks of Difference Makers Summit leaders speaking to you, giving from their heart. And those people are, you ready, a little drum roll. We have Lynn Hawkins coming up, the money girl. I'm just going to read their names. We won't go into long details.
Hey, Lynn.
Yay. We have Virginia Parsons speaking, the Hangout Mentor. So many of you know her. We have Robert McPhee and his partner Cheryl Volk talking about mind power technology, and I had been given a little scoop preview that this particular program will be mentioned on Oprah at the end of October. So all of you are going to be getting some really exciting material from Robert McPhee and Cheryl Volk on your mind power. We also have Teresa de Grosbois. I've just learned to pronounce her last name, and she is someone who I was attracted to, who was led to me, and she is the founder of the Evolutionary Business Council, a 3 times best-selling author. Her new book is just coming out October 1st, and you will be able to hear from her and interact with her. And then we also have Steve Taubin, who's also a best-selling author of a book called Unhypnosis, How to Wake Up, Start Over, and Create the Life You Are Meant to Live. He's going to be helping us build our business strategically. And last, I'm going to be sharing with you how to strategically attract the perfect customers through your story. So I want to thank, which is going to time what we just talked about today. So I want to just thank everyone and let you know that if you would like the opportunity to speak to Roland after this recorded broadcast, you are going to be invited into the green room, and you'll have a chance to engage with him personally. Please be sure to register. You will be able to be eligible for all the bonus gifts if you register, and that link is on this page. I will be posting a new Google page in a couple of days with our next speaker, Lynn Hawkins. And until then, keep smiling, keep being positive, and know that we're all in this together. All the best to you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.